Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group number 5 and today we would like to talk about the British Airways Flight 5390 incident that was related to our subject, which is human factors. An aviation disaster was narrowly averted on 10 June 1990 when a wrongly installed panel of the windscreen on the British Airways fell out, causing the plane's cockpit to decompress and its captain to be pulled halfway out of the aircraft at over 17,000 feet. BA5390 left Birmingham Airport at 7:20 a.m. heading for Malaga in Spain. At the controls were Captain Tim Lancaster and his co-pilot Alastair Atkinson, both experienced flyers, and their takeoff was routine. Less than 15 minutes into the flight, with the plane at 17,300 feet over Oxfordshire, there was a loud bang in the cockpit and the windscreen on the captain's side blew out from its mooring, causing immediate decompression. Both pilots had loosened their harnesses and Lancaster was forcefully pulled toward the open window by the rush of air. The whole top half of his body was dragged out of the plane, with only his legs remaining inside, caught on the flight controls. In accordance with AAIB, the incident may be caused by some human factors. Firstly, staff shortage during the night shift became one of the factors. 27 hours before flight, the shift maintenance manager, SMM, working on the night shift and decided to do the windscreen replacement by himself. This shown that there is shortage of workers that forces him to do the job himself. After finishing his job, he signed it off without supervision and recheck from the maintenance operator. From this incident, we are aware that teamwork is required in completion any task. The advantage of working in a group or team is each member of the group ought to feel responsible for the output of that group, not just their own output as an individual. They also work towards ensuring that the whole product is safe. Then the advantage is the other member can cross-check others' work so that we will not do any small mistakes, even the biggest one. To prevent workers' shortage, the company should be able to manage the schedule perfectly. They need to place the person who is able to work at night on the night shift. Consider their night side and else. Then, the company also need to reward their worker who willingly to take the risk on the night shift. Lastly, the company should prevent organizational stresses because it may lead to problems such as poor industrial relations, high turnover of staff, increased absenteeism, and most importantly for the aviation industry is more incidents and accidents due to human error. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to Irshad.
Thank you, Camelia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irshad Azimunaki bin Ishaq Latifi. Today I'm going to talk about circadian rhythm. So our circadian rhythm helps control your daily schedule for sleep and wakefulness. This rhythm is tied to our bodies and most living things have one. Our circadian rhythm is influenced by outside things like light and dark as well as other factors. Our brain receives signal based on our environment and activate certain hormone, alter your body temperature and regulate your metabolism to keep you alert or draw you to sleep. Some may experience disruption to their circadian rhythm because of external factors or sleep disorder. Maintaining healthy habits can help our respond better to this natural rhythm of your body. So, how it works? There are several components that make up our body's circadian rhythm. It is one of 4 biological rhythms in the body. So firstly, cell in our body. So cell in our brain respond to the light and dark. Our eyes capture such changes in the environment and then send signal to different cells about when it's time to be sleepy or awake. Those cells then send more signal to other parts of the brain that activate other functions that make you more tired or alert. The second one is hormone. So hormone like melatonin and cortisol may increase or decrease as part of your circadian rhythm. So melatonin is a hormone that makes you sleepy and your body releases more of it at night and suppresses it during the day. Cortisol can make you more alert and your body produces more of it in the morning. So the other factors is the body temperature and metabolism. So this is part of our circadian rhythm. Our temperature drops when our sleep and rises during awake hours. Additionally, your metabolism works at different rates throughout the day. And about age. Age is another factor that influences our circadian rhythm. Sometimes it is not possible to follow our circadian rhythm and lifestyle and internal clock clash. This can occur because of stress, medication we take, mental health condition, poor sleep habits, and many more. So, how to prevent us from circadian effect? So, we may experience disruption to our circadian rhythm, but we can get it back on track. So, here are some tips for promoting a healthy 24-hour schedule. So, first, spend time outdoors when it's light outside to boost your wakefulness. Get enough daily exercise. 20 or more minutes of aerobic exercise is generally recommended. So next, sleep in environment that promote rest with proper lighting, a comfortable temperature, and a supportive mattress. Avoid alcoholic, caffeine, and nicotine in the evening. Power down your screen well before bedtime and try engaging in something analog such as reading a book or meditating. Do not nap late in the afternoon or evening. And lastly, try to adhere to a routine each day. So that's all from me about circadian effect. So I will pass to Harid Adam. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishad. Now, shift or task handover were involved. The manuals require 8 disks, but 7 disks were installed previously on the aircraft. Handovers failed because the personnel that installed the previous bolt has installed different bolt from the AMM and IPC. However, he used sight and touch to match the bolts and erroneously selected 8C instead, which were longer but thinner. In search of a match for the bolts, the shift manager went to a self-service parts carousel in another part of the facility, but the labels on the containers were badly worn. The light was dim, and he did not have his glasses. He figured he could find some A212 7D bolts by visually comparing them with the old ones until he found a match. After searching for some minutes, he found what he thought was the right kind of bolt and took 84 of them, keeping 6 of the originals that were in decent condition. Unfortunately, the shift manager's eye was not as good as he thought it was. The bolt he grabbed were actually A2-11 8C bolts, which were narrower. Without realizing his mistake, he took these bolts back to the plane and began installing them on the captain's side windshield. Although the bolts occasionally slip, he was working at an awkward angle from which he could not distinguish the slipping from the normal slipping of the clutch of the electric screwdriver. After screwing in all 90 bolts, he climbed back down and called it a day. He did not notice that the new bolts descended too far into the holes, exactly the sort of thing that the second set of eyes might have noticed. But as the shift manager, he normally was that second set of eyes. Nor did anyone else need to inspect the work. But because the windscreen was not considered a vital point that needed additional oversight, the shift manager went home later that morning, and the next shift was left none the wiser. The following day, the shift manager had one last chance to realize his mistake when he witnessed another mechanic replace a different windscreen using A2-12 8D bolts, but still believing he had put in A2-11 7D bolts, he assumed this was just natural variance between different BAC1-11s made at different times. After all, the bolts he took had held the windscreen in place for 4 years, still unaware of his potentially catastrophic error, but took no action. And to prevent this to happen again, the shift manager should have followed the manual properly, and the windshield needs to be inspected after it had been replaced by the second set of eyes. I mean, there is another person should inspect the work after it has been done. And next, there was element of a can-do attitude. Engineer need to know exactly what the task is that has to be done. Engineer also need to know are the resources available to do it effectively, where resources include personnel, equipment, documentation, information and guidance, facilities such as hangar space, lighting, etc. If the engineer is in any doubt what needs to be done, written guidance material is the best resource. Colleagues may unintentionally give incorrect or imprecise direction and the shift manager this time decided to carry out the maintenance itself. And to prevent this, the shift manager should have asked another technician to help him to replace the windscreen and to help him to inspect the windscreen properly. Thank you, and I will pass it to Muhammad Aiman bin Buhani.
Thank you, Harid. Next is number 5. The interruption occurred. There were poor light in the store area which forced the SMM to find the bolt using only his eye and touch. He also failed to notice that the countersink was slower than it should be. This is because the lack of physical environment. Inappropriate or insufficient lighting can lead to mistake in work tasks or can increase the time required to do the work. It is imperative that their work be conducted under proper lighting conditions. When working outside during daylight, the engineer may have sufficient natural light to see well. In this case, additional local artificial lighting is usually required. Illumination refers to the lighting both within the general working environment and also in the locality of the engineer and the task he is carrying out. It can be defined as the amount of light striking a surface. To prevent this thing from happening, the company should install adequate lighting to make sure the staff or technician can do their task more clearly. Next is number 6. There was some failure to use approved data or company procedure. The SMM complete the job and sign it off without complete pressure check or duplicate check. This is because he considered that the windscreen is not vital point. To prevent this from happening again, someone with high authority should monitor and check all his tasks to prevent it from any mistake again. Next, I will pass it to Mr. Afiq.
Thank you, Aiman. The next factor is that the manual were confusing. It is because in the manual it is said to use 70 bolts, while the storeman told him that the job required 8Ds. So when he looked for the 8D bolts in the store, he noticed that there were not enough. Even though he was advised to use 8D, he dismissed the advice and decided to use his sight and touch to match the bolt, and erroneously picked the 8C. He also failed to notice that the countersunk was slower than it should be. To prevent this kind of error, he should consult the storeman to see if the bolt he picked could be replaced for the replacement of the 8D bolts. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Last but not least, as a conclusion, there are many factors caused by human error. So we as a worker, we need to avoid these things from happen by trying to improve ourselves. We need to find something that can counter this human error, such as learn a good way of communication, check our knowledge, always refer to manual, and so on. I hope this video will be meaningful for you guys, and you guys enjoy watching it. That's all from us. Thank you, bye bye, and assalamualaikum.